Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Miguel at Premium Barbers. We're about to do our haircut here on Erik. Who is your barber's barber?
Oh, that's exciting. Let's do it.
So Erik, what got you started in this barber career? Can you tell us a little bit of your background of how you got started?
Yeah. So, I think the curiosity came from just, it came from literally just my dad having a set of those Walmart clippers back in like 7th grade year. And just having that curiosity, what if I was able to cut my own hair?
So you say the first time you attempted to cut somebody's hair was on your own?
It was on myself. So started from there. And literally all I had was the clipper. No trimmers, no shavers, nothing. And a set of guards.
Did you watch a YouTube video or anything to get you started?
That was my best friend right there. And I remember having to specifically type the only machine that I had in order to achieve the haircut that I wanted. I even at one point learned how to line myself up with the actual clipper.
Not a trimmer, the clipper.
Not a trimmer, the clipper. And I looked up videos. I didn't realize that I could have just bought in a trimmer instead of trying to do everything with the actual clipper. But I did that for like two solid years.
No trimmer.
No trimmer.
Oh, damn.
Learning, just trying to figure out how to get that fade down. So middle school days, if anybody remembers how I looked, those haircuts were horrible.
But you still pull some honeys, right?
The honeys weren't coming till high school. In middle school, it was so hard to pull because of the haircut.
Yeah. So you say that the haircuts play a big role on how guys get honeys, then?
Oh, absolutely. Also, your edible. How do you say that in English? The way you're able to speak to a female, I feel like now in today's generation.
Oh yeah. The way you communicate with them.
The way you communicate with them has a lot to do with it. But it all starts with the haircut. But yeah, that's more or less how I got started, was just picking up that clipper and just starting on myself.
So after you got a little bit of practice, did you start cutting like the neighbors, your family, or anything?
That's exactly what I did. One of my neighbors was coming in weekly. Started cutting his hair. Met some really good buddies of mine now. And it was 3 brothers, and I was doing their haircuts for free for years. Until it got to the point where now other buddies were starting to come in, and it got to the point where I was like, dude, I'm not gonna be doing this for free. Like, give me $5 at least, you know. And sometimes they gave them, other times they didn't. It was one of those things where.
So the $5 wasn't consistent every time they.
The $5, no, it was like, but it was quote unquote my friends, you know. So you had to give them the homie discount. And that's when I started realizing, hey, like, nothing's free in life, you know? Like, I shouldn't have to do this for free if I'm the one giving you a haircut.
Yeah, you definitely putting in your time, putting in your tools.
Yeah. And during that time is when I wanted to start investing in clippers, you know? Now I started realizing, okay, there's trimmers, there's balders, I want to get a cape, I want to get a mirror, I want to get a barber chair. So that's when I was like, $5 isn't going to cut it for all the things that I want to get.
So which clipper was the first one you ever purchased with the money that you had made from barbering?
Ooh. I was a big Walmart clipper guy. For some reason, those were my go-tos. I don't know how.
Any particular reason why you like the wall clippers?
You know what? I don't know why. I just had never tried had never gone with Andis or any other company.
Oh, so this is just what you started with, and that's
that's all I knew. And believe it or not, I did have a master's back in the day. I sold it.
You sold the Masters?
I sold the Masters to one of my buddies. But I wonder. And I think it was because I didn't have the purple magnetic double the guards, so I was like, damn man, like I can't really fade with these.
Yeah, like you.
But I didn't realize that just using those double magnetics changes the whole game.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you had to call out barber clippers brands, man, it would be something that they could come up with that will help the game.
Damn. I love the Masters now that I've been using it, but the cordless version is just not it. So how could you make the cordless Masters as quiet as the corded Masters? Or what do you think? Or some, but less, a little bit lighter, I would say.
See that has been the
Or
biggest complaint, yeah. Like,
or let's say we can throw in like the seniors motor with the way it opens up with the Masters.
you know, JRL came out with the clipper
Mm-hmm.
that opens up to the one, and it's really quiet as the corded Masters, and it opens as much as the Masters.
So that's
That's an alternative.
how's the weight on that one?
Oh, it's really light.
Oh,
I think it's one of the lightest clippers I ever tried. So when did you realize, man, that the barbering career could take you places?
oh. So this is when I left Hartnell. So after high school, got a scholarship out of Hartnell. Went to my university, and as I was packing everything up I was loading up my car. My coach told me, dude, you have 3 days to be out here. I was like, shoot. So I packed up everything I could find in my car that I needed, clothes, whatever. And for some reason, I was like, you know what? What if I don't find a barber out there? Let me take my clippers just in case. Like, worst case scenario, I'll just cut myself up. And it wasn't until I landed out there when it was about 2 weeks in, I started realizing, damn, I need a haircut. But also, I didn't realize I didn't have any money. I wasn't going to be able to afford a barber out there. You know, I was just a fresh college student. The money that I had, I needed to last me a couple months, you know? So then I was giving myself a haircut, and when I lived on the 6th floor of the dorm room, and that's when someone walked in and was like, what the heck, dude? Like, you know how to cut hair? Like, cut my hair. And then from there, the rest was history. I was cutting up about maybe 60 players on the football team.
60?
I mean, the football team was huge. We had like about 130 players, more or less.
And how much were you charging the players at this time for the haircuts?
This was in 2019. I was charging $15. And I thought that was a lot.
How much is the average haircut price over there?
Well, we're looking at 30, 35 right now. So I was like really lowballing myself. Because my rule was, the cheaper you charge, the more clients you'll have. So I started with just a couple clients, cutting in the dorms, just whenever I had time. That started getting me through school, and now I was like, oh shoot, I don't need to get this job. I don't need to have a job, you know? I can just play football, focus on school, and make your money cutting hair.
So you didn't have like a little part-time job anywhere, a little McDonald's or something?
I did. So for a time, I was working for Coca-Cola as a loader. Okay. I was loading up sodas and stuff like that to get them out to throwing them on the semi. And as I was working, I was making $14 an hour. I was like, dude, like, I'm charging 15, so you're telling me all I gotta do is, I was working maybe like 3 or 4 hours a day. So I was like, dude, all I gotta do is 4 haircuts, and I already worked my shift.
Yeah, and tax-free money.
Yeah,
too.
so it started getting to the point where working there wasn't worth it because I knew I could make more money cutting hair. And where I lived, it was a small city, and there wasn't too many barbers out there that actually knew how to do those bald fades and stuff like that, designs and all that good stuff. So it started getting to the point where people would go to Walmart, they would go to like a Safeway kind of store out there, and people would go up to him and be like, "Hey, what the heck? Like, who cut your hair?"
Oh, people started noticing.
They started recognizing the work. Like, oh, well, this guy's a barber. He cuts out of his living room. Like, oh, well, let me get his number. I started getting random people coming in, and that's when I was like, I'm gonna go up to $20. So it was like $20. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm not able to text everybody back or call everybody back. Well, calling everybody back while I'm working. So that's when I started using the cut.
Tell the audience what the cut is.
So the cut's an app used to book your appointments. I want to say by the time I left North Dakota, I was at about 156 clients, more or less. So I was starting to get a little booked, you know, like. And it started like, it was crazy. It got to the point where barbershop owners were realizing my work.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah, so one of my buddies was at the store it was Menards, and one of the shop owners goes in. He's like, "Hey man, who cut your hair?" He's like, "Oh, one of my buddies out of his living room." He's like, "Hey, here's my business card, bro. Tell him to come see me." I was like, wow, and I was sketched out. I was like, damn, this guy's probably gonna call state board on me or something, you know? So it takes about 2 weeks. I'm like, should I go see him? Like, what if he could do an apprenticeship? Like, what if he could teach me something, guide me somewhere? So I go into a shop. He's like, so you're the famous guy that's been cutting everybody up. And I was like, what the? Like, how do you know who I am?
Yeah.
He's like, do you have a barber's license? I was like, no. He's like, well, you're missing out. He's like, how do you not have a barber's license? You're missing out on all this extra money. And that's when he's like, you want to know something? He's like, you know the chiropractor next door? He's like, we're making more money than them. And I was like,
damn.
Like, what do you mean? And he's kind of walking me through this process. He was like, look, there's a barber school 4 hours or 3.5 hours away from here. You need to go there. It was in what's the name of that town? In Fargo, North Dakota. And we're talking about it's gonna be the end of summer, so winter's about to hit. And I was like,
hell no.
Well, what do I do? Am I supposed to drive 3.5 hours to go to school every day? He's like, no, you just move out there. And my mindset was like, I already don't have anybody out here, you know, like, and now you're telling me to move fucking another 3.5 hours? Like, I was like, heck no. And we're talking about like 2 months before COVID starts. I moved back out to California. This was like, I want to say January 28th, por ahí. 2020. And I get here and next thing you know, I kind of already had that mindset like, shit, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to go back and just start barber school. So when I came back, that's when I pulled the trigger. Within 2 weeks that I moved out here, I had started.
Oh, you did that fast.
Yeah. But my mindset was get my barber's license and you're going back. Because I have talked to that guy, you know, he's like, dude, just get your barber's license and we'll do something. That was my mindset. So I'm in barber school. I was known for, the guy that's gonna get his barber license and go back to North Dakota. And that's because that's where all my clients were. I didn't have any clients here to me, you know.
So you had to start from scratch
Scratch all over.
So do you think it was hard to build your clientele at the beginning here?
You know what? With social media, it made it a little bit easier. Just because, I would say, I had a couple clients still from like when I used to cut in high school and stuff like that.
So what made you stay here in California and not go back to North Dakota?
The opportunities that we have here, the weather, the people that I know now, like it's a whole different environment.
So how did you come across Premium Barbers Incorporated Barbershop?
Ooh, a couple of my clients, like how we talked about them, they kept mentioning your name, you know, like, hey man, this guy opened up a shop and, you know, he might be looking for some people. If you're looking for a professional setting, for something that's legit, like, dude, that's your guy. And it got to the point where I had gotten my barber's license, you know, like I already took my state board test, like I'm fully licensed, and I'm still cutting in the garage. So it's about 2 months with my barber's license. My mom comes into the garage. She's like, "Hey, like you're done." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Dude, you have your license. Like, what are you still doing in the garage?" And I think that was like my go-to. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call Miguel. And that's when I made that phone call and I met you that day.
Well, to add to that story, I remember you calling me and you were talking to me like, maybe I should just come in. And I was like, yeah, that would be a good idea. Man,
Yeah.
you came earlier than you had said.
Yeah.
And one of the questions was like, when can I start? And at that time, I was kind of like testing you to see if you were really serious about that, whenever you want to. And the response that you gave me fucking shocked the hell out of me. Can I start tomorrow? I was like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Like from my perspective, it was like I as soon as I had the walkthrough, I was like, yep, let's do it right now. But from your perspective, you must have had that different perspective, you know? Like how does that feel for someone to come in and be like, just like all in right away?
Well, you know what? I had a couple people that came in and they were like ready to start right there and then, but they didn't continue with that same energy.
Yeah.
You know, you day in, day out, you come back and it's the same energy, like you want it. You know, and I feel like that's what I've been looking for. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody could fill the chairs, but we're looking for the right people for the shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
We have created an environment here that I think we need to keep that going.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's crazy. It did start with that talk. Both my parents were like, "Hey, like," and that day I took it like the wrong way, you know. But now that I look back, it's like they wanted to see me succeed more, you know.
Exactly.
And just being here the first month, I was like, shit, my income doubled. And I thought I was saving money being in the garage, you know? Like, I didn't realize that there was a lot of things I was doing wrong. But I had never been in a barbershop scenario where I had no guidance, you know? Like, to know what was good pricing or good services or things like that.
So do you feel like being in the barbershop has helped you grow, not only in your career, but in yourself?
Oh, yeah. It's to the point where as soon as I clock out, I know I'm clocked out, you know? And when I was in the garage, it was kind of like on call all the time. And I didn't know how to say no to people. Oh, well, I'm hella tired. I know it's 9 p.m., but you know, like I am home. Like I'm supposed. For me, I felt obligated. Like, oh dang it, I'm on the client's time. But now that I'm in a barbershop, now that I kind of know my worth a little bit more, I realize they're on your time. You know, like you're not. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does perfect sense to me. Yeah, because we all have families. We all have lives outside the barbershop. The barbershop is not our lives. We like what we do. But, you know, some of us have kids, you know, memberships to the gym, or we want to go out clubbing, drinking, see our girlfriends.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time, would any of the things that you have done, would you have done them differently?
I would have done this sooner.
You know, that's the biggest regret I have.
But I do realize now that I look back, like everything you go in life is like kind of shapes you a little bit, you know. Mm-hmm. So I might have not been prepared for that situation. Because I'm telling you, when I graduated high school, my grandma had a friend that owned a shop in the South Side, and she the day of my graduation, I show up in my freaking graduation fit, and she's like, "Hey, like I want you to work here." So for that summer of 2017, I worked in her shop. So I literally like could have just been like, I could have gone to Wayne's right then in 2017. I had the paperwork, I had done the orientation and everything, but I chose the college route. I was like, nah, I gotta go to college. I want to play football. I want to do this. So that was me. So I already had that. I had already done the application and everything. I had filled it out. It was just about pulling the trigger, and I didn't pull it that year. So those 4 years definitely shaped me differently.
But you wouldn't do anything different.
What would I have done different? I don't think so. I don't think I would have done anything different.
Every time I tell my wife that, you know, my biggest regret is not doing this earlier,
Yeah.
she always says, maybe you would not have appreciated as much as you do now if you would have done it then.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe we did have to go through that to realize that, you know, this is the path that we want to follow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that anybody else chose, you know, for you, right? You chose this yourself.
Yeah. And one thing that I realized is now it's a little more competitive. Bars, you see more shops and stuff like that nowadays. But I think it would have been different if I would have started back in 2017. I probably would have been a way different person. So that might have been a little different. I've never thought about it like that though.
So if you were talking to barbers who are, you know, barely starting or thinking about becoming barbers, any advice for them that you could think of right now?
Supply and demand is huge. Everybody needs a haircut. We live in a city where there's 200,000 plus people. And there could be 100,000 barbers. We're still not going to be able to cut everybody's hair. So the demand is there. The real thing is, who knows that you cut hair? Do people respect your work? And how are you going to get people in your chair? So those are things that I do recommend you learn. Or start with your family, start with your friends. Have them tell everybody. And if you give someone quality work, I guarantee you they're going to tell 7 people. If someone likes the way you cut their hair, you got to focus on that one person that's in your chair at a time. And I do understand everybody wants to work do those 40, 50 cuts a week, but it all starts with who's in your chair at first. So as long as you're taking care of your client one by one, you're going to be booked within your first year easy. But that's one thing that we're still learning, you know, is how to get those clients in and out. And returning clients, you know, like, can you hold a conversation? Can you build a relationship with your clients, you know? Like, it's not just about the haircut anymore.
Let me interrupt you a little bit. Are we cutting anything from the top?
What do you think?
I said we do, but I don't know. You were telling me you wanted to grow it.
Yeah, let's cut it a little bit.
Yeah? Or you said, well, maybe 1/4 inch. So, do you think at one point robots are going to be cutting hair? I think we should leave that one for our audience. Comment below if you think that barbers are...
would you let a robot cut your hair versus a human being?
Yeah, there you go.
Because I feel like in today's society, like, barbers play a huge role in like a man's life. But who knows? Let's see what they have to say. Because definitely that would change the ballgame.
So comment below if you think that you'll be going to a robot for your haircut instead of a real life person. I mean, how you liking working at Premium Barbers? You know, if you hate it,
You gotta love Premium Barbers.
anything you want to say while I have the clippers to your head?
It's definitely been a good experience. feel like you've been a really good mentor.
Shit, make sure you get that on film.
Just I feel like I've grown a lot with getting the barber's license this year, starting the shop, moving out. Like it's been a year where a lot has happened really quick, but it's been able to adjust pretty quickly, kind of like on the fly, and that's one thing that I feel like I've learned.
After Nori shared his story about how he fought cancer yesterday, the comment that you said about living your life, man, dude, I took that shit home yesterday, and fuck.
So we're going skydiving now?
We might have to. We might have to.
Three premium employees dead.
They were probably trained with the cord.
We're barely convincing them, and you have to say that?
thought it was okay to go skydiving without proper training by themselves the first time. Not even with the instructor behind you.
Make sure the guy's not depressed or anything. Fuck, he might just jump out with no fucking
Decided to jump out with no parachute.
Yeah.
Said he had to live life.
Oh, fuck.
Boom, alrighty. Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.